Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you are watching this video, let me welcome you all to our channel Future Endeavors. Okay, so in the previous class, we have discussed the terms related to reflection of light. We have also discussed about the laws of reflection of light. Okay, so in today's class, we are going to discuss in details about the formation of image, how an image is formed. Rather, we can say that where can you see your image very clearly? It is obvious that you see yourself in the mirror. So today we will be seeing how image is formed in a mirror, or how at least we can get an concept or overview of image formation in a mirror. So for today's lesson, we will be considering plane mirror. Plane mirror are those mirrors which are found in your dressing room, okay, or in your or in the mirror which is placed above the basins in your washroom, okay. So those are plane mirrors. So let us see how image is being formed in a plane mirror. So take out your copies and please, if you can write, it is very well. It will be easier to understand the concept if you write along with watching the video. Okay, so write on the heading, formation of image of a point object. Now what is point object? An object which has relatively smaller dimensions. It is not very big object, okay. The distance of that object from the mirror is larger in comparison to the dimension of that object. So these objects can be referred to as point objects. Okay. So let us consider a plane mirror. Okay. So say this is a plane mirror. You know how a plane mirror is formed. Basically, a plane mirror is nothing but a transparent glass, a smooth transparent glass. So you might be wondering, a transparent glass allows light to pass through it. How does it become a mirror, or how can it reflect light? For that, you see the line that is representing the mirror has some dashed lines on the one side, okay. What are these dashed lines representing? These dashed lines are representing the silvering. What is silvering? Now as you imagine that glass is transparent, it will allow light to pass through it. So how can it be made reflective? If we paint one surface of that flat glass, okay, with silver, or say just put a coating of silver on one side of the glass, then that very glass surface which was totally transparent, which allowed light to pass through it, now will not allow the light to pass through it, that it will just reflect it back. It becomes a plane mirror. So this is how simple a plane mirror is. Okay, so a plane mirror can be represented like this. Now if we consider a point object, okay, consider a point object here, say a point object here, okay, and it is at a certain distance, say it may be at any distance, okay, fine. So how does this point object forms an image? Now see, if we consider a light ray to be incident from this object perpendicular on the mirror surface, okay. So from the laws of reflection you have learned that the angle of incidence will be equal to the angle of reflection. Now can you imagine that what will be the angle of incidence when a light ray falls perpendicularly on a surface? Yes, if you have guessed it, it will be actually 0 degree, because we measure the angle of incidence by the angle that the incident light ray makes with the normal. Now here the incident light ray is falling or is coming along the normal, isn't it? Along the normal, fine, along the normal. So when this is coming along with the normal, okay, now it will be making an angle of 0 degree, it is obvious. So when a light ray, remember this thing, when a light ray falls perpendicular in the surface, it is making an angle of incidence of 0 degree. Now so when this kind of light falls, the angle of reflection will also be 0 degree from the law of reflection. So it will be reflected back along the same path. It will be reflected back along the same path. The black colored arrow represents the reflected ray direction, okay. Another, if I consider another ray which is not incident normally on the plane mirror from the point object, rather it is falling at a certain angle, okay, in that case we will see that it will be reflected at some other angle, isn't it? So what will be the angle? If we just draw a normal at this point, if we consider a normal at this point, okay, so we know that the angle made by the incident ray is the angle of incidence, so it will make the same, the reflected ray will also make the same angle with the normal. So something like this will happen. Is it okay? No, slightly the angle is greater. So consider it like this. It will be something like this. Okay. So this is how the reflected ray will move out. Okay. So I am going to mark the reflected with the black arrow. It will be easier for to understand. Okay. So this is how the rays are reflected back. Now, can you think of that on the back side of the mirror? If I think that this reflected rays are extended to some extent, extended like this to some extent, okay, and from here also it has been extended, this reflected ray. Now these two rays actually when extended on the back side of the mirror appear to meet at certain point, appear to meet, if they are not actually meeting, they appear to meet at some point. This point is the point where they appears to meet. Now this is actually the image that we see in our mirror. This is the image I, and the red mark is the object, point object O. Fine. So in this way you can actually find out how an object, point object, makes a image in a plane mirror. Okay, so is it fine? Okay, so I hope the concept is clear. Now while you are drawing or practicing or say writing this question in your exam, do not follow this process. That is an easier process. Yes, I should be discussing that with you, with all of you. See, when an image is formed by a plane mirror, there are certain characteristics of that image formed by a plane mirror. Okay, so what are the characteristics? Okay, so what are the characteristics of the image formed by a plane mirror? Characteristics of image formed by plane mirror. So what are the characteristics? So just think of, you are standing in front of the mirror and you are seeing your image. So what are the characteristics you tend to see? First of all, you have noticed that when you move closer to the mirror, the image also appears to move closer to you, isn't it? And when you move away from the mirror, the image also tends to move away from you, isn't it? So actually it has been found that the distance at which the object is placed, from the mirror, okay, the image is also formed at the same distance behind the mirror as the object is in front. So first characteristic that we can notice, first characteristic is that object distance is equal to image distance, first characteristics. Okay, what is second characteristics? Second characteristics, you must have seen that while you are seeing yourself in a plane mirror, it is always upright, the image is always erect, the image is not inverted. Have you seen yourself to be inverted while you are seeing in a plane mirror? No, you are always seeing yourself to be upright. As you are standing in front of the mirror, so appears the image. So that is no change in it. So the second point is that the image is upright, or it can be also said to be erect. Okay, second point is clear. I think it is clear. Third point. What is the third point that you have noticed? Okay, this kind of image which is formed by a plane mirror are said to be virtual. Why this kind of image is said to be virtual? Can you guess? if you just pause the video and think of a little bit, you see that this kind of images are called virtual because actually the reflected light rays are not meeting at any point. When we extend or just trace back those reflected rays from the other side of the mirror, it appears as if the reflected rays are coming from this point I, isn't it? It appears to be coming from this point I, the reflected rays, isn't it? So that's why we regard these kind of images to be virtual image. They are not formed by the actual interaction or intersection of the reflected rays, rather by the, it appears to be the intersection of the reflected rays. So third point is, these kind of images are always virtual. So image is virtual. This is the third point. What is the fourth point? What is the fourth point? So what is the fourth point? Now the fourth point is, another interesting fact about this image from the plane mirror is that you must have noticed that standing in front of mirror, when you raise your left hand in the mirror, you see as if your right hand is being raised, or you see your left hand to be rising in the right side of the image, isn't it? And when you raise your right hand, it appears to rise in the left side of the image. So this actually, whatever you are seeing, the image is the left side of the image. The right side of the object becomes the left side of the image, and the left side of the object becomes the right side of the image. So this phenomenon is called lateral inversion. So image is laterally inverted. So fourth point is, image is laterally inverted. So this is called lateral inversion. The process is called lateral inversion. So it is said that the image is laterally inverted. So these are the few points that must be kept in mind for an image is formed in a plane mirror. Okay, so I hope the concept is clear. Okay, so in today's class we will be ending our video here. In the next class we will be discussing about an important topic, virtual image and real image, difference between them, and we will be also seeing how an extended object, this was a point object, an extended object, say a stick or a pen like this, how its image is formed in a plane mirror. We will be seeing that kind of figure. Okay, so till then, in the next class, please do study well, and if you have any query, please mention it in the comment box. We will be happy to solve your problem. Till then, please do study well. Have a good day. Thank you.